wild in the street. Everybody having a good time? I have a question for you. Any religious people in the audience tonight? Dude, you're brave. That's fucking brave of you. So, what's the religion you subscribe to? That's a piss poor fucking response. Where are the bouncers? Could you throw this guy out? Look, don't know what your situation is with religious groups here, but where we're from, about a third of our country is red. They call it the Bible Belt. And these are the people that will tell you, you gotta follow along with us because we know what's happening. Like they really fucking do. But you gotta give us money on Sunday so we can tell you that you're gonna, if you follow our path, you get to go to heaven. He doesn't like when I go on these long rants, so I'm gonna cut it short. I'm almost at the end of my rant. It only goes on for about another 15 minutes. Now, this next song, see, this little speech is leading up to this next song. Another one that Greg and I wrote. It is called, for our group of fucking religious fanatics who've now added Nazi nationalist to the end of their fucking, whatever they call themselves, the white fucking Christian nationalists. Fuck them. Who would want to party with them anyways? Who would want to hang out with them? Anyways, this is about them. This is another name for them. The moral majority. Faraway places people die.
It's not Vietnam. It's another oil coming scam. We select the black Russell Sam. Get your ass, fix your mess. They got everything. Vietnam, Section 8. Got the bullets, got the round two. Right on the lake. Infantry. Cavalry. Drinking to the left. Fighting first. People die.
Faraway places people die, and we don't fucking care.
Shut down! He's like John Dry cover will be live.
I told you at the beginning of our set, before we even started playing the music, that tonight was going to be a Southern California punk rock history lesson. We, the three of us, were extremely fortunate to grow up. We were 25 miles south of Hollywood and Los Angeles. But we were still able to witness some of the greatest bands in punk rock history. You know, a couple of other bands. Our Mexican entrance, Circle One does not count. They don't deserve to be added to those bands because they were what, third generation? Yeah. Think about it, Joey. Think about your statements before you make them. So, we have a band called The Plugs, or Los Plugs, which were the Mexican, Hispanic, Latino entrant into the predominantly white punk rock scene in Southern California. Tito, the guitar player, also played guitar with another one of our friends, a guy named Chris D, which is short for Chris Desjardins. Chris D was responsible for, while he was working at Slash Records, signing the Misfits' Walk Among Us, the Gun Club, Fire of Love. He played a role in signing X, The Germs, Fear, Los Lobos, The Blasters. We got 10. Okay, I'll make this quick. He was in a band called The Flesh Eaters. Tito played in The Flesh Eaters. While the two of them were in The Flesh Eaters, they wrote this next song. Nobody will ever hear it except for our version. They said, go ahead and take it out to the world. This one is called I, and I. We're gonna play about 3 or 4 more songs. The Descendants will be up about 15-20 minutes after we get through playing. Hey, thank you all for being here. Thank you for paying attention.